Avoidant behaviour isn't cold. Cold is predictable. Looks the same every day. Avoidant behaviour isn't that. It's when things feel good and then they pull away. 1 minute, everything feels fine. Then suddenly, it's not. The tone shifts. Replies get shorter. Plans turn into, we'll see. Not dramatic. Not enough to say anything. Just enough for you to notice it. And if someone asked you what changed, you wouldn't really know how to explain it. You'd just say, I don't know. Something feels off. A lot of people sit there for a long time. Not upset exactly, just not settled either. Here's what this usually looks like. Things feel good. They're engaged. They show up. Then, without warning, something shifts. They don't end things. They don't bring up anything. They don't explain what changed. They just pull back. Messages drop off a bit. Plans stop being specific. Things feel a bit flatter. Not enough to accuse them of anything. Not enough to bring it up. Just enough that you start adjusting. That's what people later recognise as avoidant behaviour. Not distance, inconsistency. From the outside, this often gets called coldness. But coldness doesn't come and go. If someone was always distant, you'd adjust. You'd know where you stand. You'd stop expecting more. What makes this confusing is that the warmth is real when it's there. The connection doesn't feel imagined. It doesn't feel one-sided in the moment. When things are good, they actually feel good. That's why people hesitate. That's why they wait. Because it doesn't feel like rejection. It feels like something that keeps showing up, then disappearing again. So instead of moving on, people wait for things to go back to how they were. One thing people usually notice later is when they start pulling back. It's often after things have been good, after a really good weekend, after sleeping together, after a proper conversation about where things are going, after it starts to feel settled. That's when it happens. Not after a fight, not after an argument, not after anything obviously bad, after things feel fine. They don't blow things up. They don't say they want out. They don't explain what changed. They start pulling back. Messages drop off a bit. Plans stop being clear. You're not sure what you're meant to do differently, if anything. And because nothing happened, you don't really know how to respond. This is why people struggle to talk about it. There isn't one moment you can point to and say that's what did it. Nothing dramatic happened. Nothing obviously wrong. From the outside, everything can look fine. They still show up. They're polite. Sometimes they're actually really good to you. But something keeps shifting. And when things keep changing, it's hard to get your footing. Not because you're dramatic, not because you're looking for problems, just because the situation doesn't stay the same long enough for you to relax. This isn't about bad people, and it's not about space being wrong. Space can be normal. Needing time to yourself can make sense. Most people aren't bothered by space on its own. What gets confusing is when it just shows up without any explanation. No context, no heads up, no sense of what happens next. 1 minute, things feel fine. The next, there's distance. And because there's no clarity around it, you don't know how to adjust. Big moments don't really help if they keep disappearing. Feeling close sometimes doesn't make things steady if you never know when it's going to drop off again. People stay because when it's good, it actually feels good. They remember how it was at the start, how easy it felt, how natural it seemed. So they wait. They tell themselves it'll settle, that it's probably just a phase, that everyone has off weeks. They think maybe they just need to give it a bit more time, or not push it, or not read into it too much. And because the good version does come back sometimes, that hope stays around. It's not all bad. That's the problem. This kind of pattern doesn't keep people stuck through cruelty. It keeps them stuck through on and off connection. Just enough closeness to think, okay, maybe it's fine. And just enough distance to never quite feel sure. Here's the part most people don't realise until much later. Avoidant behaviour isn't cold. If it was cold, you'd know where you stood. You'd stop expecting much. You'd adjust. What gets to people isn't distance. It's the inconsistency. It's not dealing with someone who's just unavailable. It's dealing with someone who's there 1 minute, then pulls away. 1 minute, things feel okay. The next, you're not sure what changed. And that's a lot harder to sit with than someone who's distant all the time. What usually happens next isn't some big blow up or anything. Nothing explodes. There isn't a clear moment where it all falls apart. People just start going over things in their head, trying to work out if they missed something, if they said the wrong thing, if there was a moment they didn't notice at the time. They start adjusting themselves a bit, not in an obvious way, just small things. Saying less, waiting longer, not bringing things up. Not because something's wrong with them, just because it's hard to relax when things keep constantly changing. And if you've found yourself doing that, this is usually where it leads. Feeling unsettled, even though nothing is clearly wrong. Starting to question your reactions because you can't point to a single reason for feeling off. That's what the next video gets into. What this kind of back and forth does once you're actually living inside of it.